What's good, YouTube? And welcome to perhaps the next Vanity's Emptiness. Now, this card has a bit of an overhyped history and is 9 years old at this point with only 2 printings. That hurts to say. Breakers of Shadow, almost a decade now. But this card is able to stop a lot of combo decks from being able to pop off. Activate this card by targeting one dragon-type monster you control with 2,500 or less attack and defense. Neither player can special summon monsters with attack less than or equal to the original attack of that monster. So anything with 2,600 or greater has clearance to just land on the field, but combo pieces are typically very small monsters to try to get into big monsters from the extra deck. Also, when that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So if that card doesn't have some kind of built-in protection, it can usually be board wiped off of the field too, and able to shut this card out. Now, this card has a sale at the $5 range at this point for 6 of them. Maybe that's someone going, come on, go ahead, buy them, please. I have so many. I personally have hundreds of them somewhere buried in the bulk mines. I've always pulled this card out of bulk, and it was when I used to actively vend. I didn't quit vending until ABC format. So if this really does take off, I'll probably sell a good amount of them in the Discord for very cheap compared to the price. But I don't think this should settle as a $5 card, but sometimes that mentality of not realizing something is 9 years old does happen if it's able to make a stay in the metagame. Bestials have very natural bodies of 2,500 to be able to pair, or 2,400, and really combo well with this card and shut off many of the great combo decks that would want to be able to go through this card. So it does make sense that people are trying to target this, and it does make sense that it could see some play as it did when Bestials debuted. But again, there are easy adaptations, not as searchable, but easy adaptations that are able to help take it out if the meta really did warp towards it. And I imagine that it would be pretty unhealthy if the meta had the warp towards this card, but we'll wait and see how this pans out. And let me know what decks you're seeing this in, and if it does have a little bit of mix with Blue Eyes hype, although a lot of the Blue Eyes cards end up over, there are cards in Blue Eyes that combo with this too. The Bestials are where my mind immediately goes though, and there's a lot of price hikes on stuff like Druid Swarm happening lately, so it makes sense that people would want to make them even stronger. Now, this set is kind of popping off in certain places. Supreme Darkness, a lot of people are calling it Resident Sleeper, and I think the warning more so is that if less of this product is open, those important cards inside will go up in price. And boy, are people making rushes towards the Primite Dragon, which is now on the front page, and the Mitsurugi Ritual, which is underspoken by a lot of people. Mitsurugi as a deck, and add into other decks, that has been talked about a lot, and I think I overslept on it as well. And it has passed the Primite Dragon, and the quarter century secret rare has spiked all the way to $130. Let's see the actual sales on this. Yes, one at $130, and a bunch of them sold at $110, with many of them originally just under $100. So the Mitsurugi is very real, it's good, and it mixes with the reptile stuff that has been popping off. People also use Nadir Servant with this, as I understand, and I have not seen the deck in full action. I actually need to sit down and watch it, but a lot of people are saying it's very, very good, and seeing Nadir Servant combo with it almost feels like cheating to some degree. But the quarter century secret rare of this is up big for a reason, with actual sales backing it. There's been multiple sales headed that way before that we've talked about, but it has gone to the next level of buyout with this card, where it used to be much easier to get, and then it mixes in with lore collections and stuff. So if you waited to buy one of these, I do feel a bit sorry for you, but you probably should have got it when it was like $15 and headed up. Now, the Ogdoadic, however you say this, Ogdoadic, but a lot of these cards have been going up. These, even the ultra rares, are going, and Konami hasn't had a big incentive to reprint a lot of these cards, considering how hard Ancient Guardians flopped and how easy it was to still get sealed of this. So we see this starting to really go on the higher end of of these, and the collector rares are going, the ultra rares are going, and people are building decks alongside it and mixing the engine in and seeing a little bit of success with that. Infinite Impermanence, Ultimate Rare versus Quarter Century Secret Rare. This has been a back and forth. Somebody tagged me on Twitter like, have the people spoken? No, both are in buyout mode right now. There's no speaking. A $5 margin on fresh buyouts when things are still spiking. I don't think anyone's spoken, but they did bring up a good point. A lot of people want to match rarities within their entire deck, and there's a lot of high-end Quarter Century Secret Rare cards, and then Starlight also looks good next to Quarter Century Secret Rare, and Infinite Impermanence QCR is ahead by a hair right now. So it does make sense that people might lean this way on the card over the OTS ulti, as OTS ultis have in large been crashing lately and not performing and not doing well, while a lot of the QCRs have started to head up and people are grabbing extras of them and they end up matching the rest of the deck and it looks more synergetic together, even though, you know, all this is performative and the same $5 card, which is now 7 lowest. Ooh, but the same cards will do the same thing. People love max raritying their decks to feel good, and I do think it could be that the QCR takes over for a while, but how long will that stay in fashion versus a 30th anniversary promotion or whatever they come up with next versus ultimate rares that have so far overall stood the test of time, even though they're falling back a bit right now. There's a couple new Tractical Try decks. Try saying that 5 times fast off of the cuff, but these now have Exo Sisters and Rescue Ace, and the buyouts are already starting, even though there's nothing new immediately from that. It took a long time for the other ones to get the support, but people saw the buyout trends. They went, I want in mad early, and they went for the Exo Sisters Magnifica Quarter Century Secret Rare because it was the easiest high end to go in on, and Exo Sister packs. You can see there's the Starlight Rare as well, but it's been mostly downward traction, and then there's the Collector Rare Mikalis, but people don't love going in on Collector Rares because of the sets that end up with extra Collector Rares for everybody. I think that Exo Sisters are a deck on the cusp of being able to become relevant once again, so it makes sense that a couple of support cards could do that for them. Rescue Ace, Hydrant was already getting bought out headed into this. It went back up recently, so it is interesting that it is getting named for support as well. That super rare out of Maze is like $10. And then we do see why people are going towards that. We've covered the live twin, evil twin buyouts recently. Look at the low quantities, the upped prices. People have been picking this up because the new support actually looks solid. And then the Eldritch, the Lark we covered just on the last Market Watch, I think. But also the Quarter Century Secret Rares ended up going up to like double, I think, what they used to be. I think you used to be able to get these, yeah, like 5-ish at the one point. Although it looked like it was doing a little better. Interesting. So it went from 6 to 12. I do think that with these, there will be new support eventually, but it's a super long waiting game and sitting on the cards and putting your money there and a rate of return versus where else you could put it in. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of card prices. It's a move I would do if I was still vending. I'd be fine holding on and waiting because I did the same with sneak peek stuff, but that was a cycle where you could unload every 3 months. Like Spirals, for example, they went up and you could dump them at 9s and they come back down to 4s and you could just pick them all back up. Then they go back to 9 again for Super Age. They're going to do it this time, and they finally did it with the Link Monster. My point is, people see these cycles and they go in. They see it as free money to some extent. The question is, how much higher does it go versus fees versus shipping and what you grabbed? Because if it's getting Tactical Try and then a new reprint, it will likely get some of its support printed with it, whatever the tactical, oh my gosh, Tactical Try, we do one take, we do it live, but seriously, Tactical Try, I don't know why I keep saying man. But seriously, with that, I think that when it comes down to it, support's probably inevitable if the trend continues, and then some of those cards will get reprinted, but not in a high enough rarity to compete with the top, which will have people scramble for it late, as we always see. And speaking of tactical try, I swear I didn't set this bid up. Tongue Twister got a buyout, and it's just an interesting old secret that I've seen so many buyout cycles on this before. There's probably people deeply invested. I know some people used to collect it just because it looks so weird. It's back up to lowest $22, sold out at 15-ish. So be aware of that as we very thematically and not, I swear it's coincidence, end this market watch. Thanks for watching, everybody.